Shalom family. I did a video similar to this one. It was the way, and that video it was showing the way of the Most High. What's the way? This video, the ways, the two ways. We're gonna understand. You know, I focused on the way because most people don't know the way, and that's where he led me to talk about the way. And so this one, we're going to talk about the two ways, because there is the way and then there's another way. And it's only two ways. And you're going to, you're on one way. This man's standing here and he's looking. And he has to go either right or left. You know, we have this choice, right or left. Life or death. One will lead to life and the other will lead to death. So we have to understand the two ways. We see this in the Dead Sea Scrolls. Now, why are we getting this? Why is the Most High giving us this? The two ways. You see it right here. This is page 501, 4Q7, 473. Why is he giving us the two ways? Because most people don't know this. Most people don't understand this. Most of our teachers, none of the Christians go into the Dead Sea Scrolls. The pastors know about this. They know of this book, but they do not go into it at all. They treat it as if it doesn't exist. So we have to dig ourselves and get these jewels and find out what the Most High is saying. And so he give us the two ways. And he has placed before you two ways. See, the Most High did this. He put before us two ways. And this is what this man's standing before. He's standing before two ways. And you have to choose. You've already chosen your way. So he put before you two ways. One which is good and one which is evil. This is it. This is what's before us. One way is good and another way is evil. The problem is we can't distinguish the difference between good and evil. And the world today call good evil and evil good. So how do we know which way is good and which way is evil? Most people are on the evil way and they believe that way is good. And not know. That's deception. This is what you call deception. Most people are deceived. I'm sorry. That's the true fact of the matter. We have to recognize how deceived we are. We have to recognize how deep this rabbit hole is. We were born into a deep, deep rabbit hole. It's very dark. And we're trying to come up out of it. So he says, if you choose the good way, now number one, how can you choose the good way? You look at this road. There's not a sign that telling you on this road the good way, the evil way. So how do you know you're in the good way and not the evil way? This is the problem. Our people don't know if they are on the good way or the evil way. They don't know which to choose. They think they've chosen the good way and they're on the evil way. So what the Most High is going to do here is to allow us to see the two ways so that we can choose the good way. If you choose the good way, he will barak you. But if you walk in the evil way, he will curse you. And this is why we're scattered across the earth. This is why we're kicking and screaming in the lands of our captivity. Because our forefathers chose to walk in the evil way. And the scripture came to pass where he says, I will scatter you among gooey. You will become a curse, a byword. You will be the tail, not the head. You will be forever in wants and needs, and these curses will cleave to you until it consume you. It came to pass. And in your tents, he says, I will destroy you. Mildew, snow, ice, hail, with all. He's talking about when you walk in this evil way, know that you are in a curse. You have to know beyond a shadow of a doubt that you are in a curse. He told us, Deuteronomy 30:15-20. He told us. What do you think this means? I've set before you today life and good. Here we go. Here's life and good. Death and evil. These are two ways. You see, two ways in the scriptures. But we can't see the two ways. We don't put this together. He set before us two ways. Life and good, death and evil. And that I command you today to love Yahuwah, your Lord, to walk in his ways. See, he's commanding us to walk in his ways and to keep his commandments, his statutes, his judgments. See, we have to keep his judgments. When we wake up to who we are, and somehow people hear the judgments, they say, this is too difficult. This is too difficult to keep. This is harsh. This is not right. This is not fair. We can't do this. How do we know these people are not going to ask for forgiveness? He said, put this one to death. How do we know he's going to ask these people going to get forgiveness by him? You see, we don't know his judgments. We don't know his ways, and we can't keep them. When we don't understand them, we go against them. That you may live and multiply. The Most High's heart. He intended for us to be fruitful and multiply. He did not intend for us to be single and no children. And Yahuwah, your Lord, will barak you in the land. See, notice, and people don't understand this. We're trying to carry out, I'm going to say this really slow. We as a people and GUI that try to cleave back to his covenant, his commandments, his laws and statutes. We are trying to keep this in the land of our captivity. Hear me and hear me well. And this is from the Most High. You just have to read it in the verses. He never intended. When he gave Torah, it was intended to keep it in the land which you go to possess. We don't get this. All through Torah. If you've already read through Torah 8, 9, 10, 12 times, you know this. But if you've never read through Torah, you don't understand this. And so our people's mindset, we keep these laws, statutes, and commandments in America. That wasn't the intent of the Father. He says, I will barak you in the land. He's only baraking us in the land which you go to possess. He's not baraking you in Babylon. He's not baraking us in these lands. He put us there for destruction. Why? And none shall redeem you. Why would he put us in this land for a curse and then turn around and barak us? See, if he barak us, he's breaking his word. Well, his word is for us to be there for destruction, for a curse and not a baraka. And we don't understand this. So we're trying to keep the laws, statutes, commandments in America, thinking he's going to barak us. But if your heart turns away so that you do not hear, most of our people, when he says, come out of her, my people, you know, we want to follow the laws, statutes, and commandments. But as soon as they hear something they don't agree with, then they turn their heart away from that command. And they do not hear, come out of her, and are drawn away and worship other mighty ones. You stay in her, you will worship other mighty ones. You will serve other mighty ones. You just don't see it. You don't understand it. But Yahuwah sees it. And he understands it. And in that day, he's going to show his people how they worship and served other mighty ones when they knew not. But they had righteous people saying, we can't serve him in Babylon. They've heard that before. We can't keep the law, statutes, and commandments in Babylon. We have to do what he says and come out of her. This is what he commanded. This is what he told us. This is our answer. Come out of her. When you wake up, I wake my people up. They know who they are. They're scattered in these lands. Did he tell us keep laws, statutes, and commandments in the land of your captivity? No. He visited his people. He woke up and he visited with a command, come out of her, my people. He says, announced to you today, watch this, that you shall surely perish. We were put in America to perish. We were put in these lands to perish and not prosper. You shall not prolong your days in the land which you cross over to Jordan to go in and possess. He says, I call heaven and earth as a witness against you. Heaven and earth still's here. So the heaven and the earth is witnessing against us. That I have set before you 2 ways. Look at this. This is the 2 ways. Life and death. The 2 ways, life and death. Baraka and cursing. If you choose life, that way is the baraka. If you choose death, which is the second way, that way is the curses. Therefore choose life, that both you and your descendants may live, that you may love Yahuwah your Lord, that you may obey his voice. See, we don't get this. Come out of her, my people. Obey his voice. We have to obey his voice when he says, come out of her, my people. And that you may cling to him. For he is your life and the length of your days, that you may dwell in the land which I swore to your fathers, Abraham, Yitzchak, Yaakov, to give. See, now he's back to the covenant. Is the covenant with these scattered lands we're scattered in? No. No, it's not. Psalms 103:7. We see he made known his ways to Moshe, his acts to the children of Yasharah. He made known his ways. If you want to know his ways, find out what did he tell Moshe. We have to go back and find out what most of the Christians that so-called come into the knowledge of the truth, they're into 1st century Christianity. And their belief is, if you don't go back to the 1st century Christianity, you're going to be off. You see, they don't go back to Moshe. See, we have to continue, and we're going to see this in Scripture. We have to go back further than the 1st century. Is it not that when we got scattered all over the earth? Is it not when terrible, horrible things happened to us? That's not where he wants to go back to. You go back to, if we go back to the 1st century, you know, when the people at the 1st century get prepared for slaughter. Because that's what came to the 1st century people, slaughter. Proverbs 14:12. There's a way. Here we go. Here's us. There is a way that seems right to a man. Our people say this is right. It feels right. It must be right. There is a way that seems right. But its end is the way of death. How is that? Because they thought they were on the right way. They thought they was on the right path. But they was on the wrong path and didn't know it. It seemed right. There's something that seems right to you. And it's not. It's wrong. It's completely wrong. It goes against the Most High's word. We have to know his word in order to know that it's wrong. Deuteronomy 5:33. We're going to take a trip down memory lane here and see what the Most High has to say. Because he told us the way. He told us his ways over and over. You shall walk in all the ways which Yahuwah your Lord has commanded you. He's telling us you shall walk in all the ways, not some of his ways, but all of them, that you may live, and that it may be well with you, and that you may prolong your days in Babylon, in the scattered lands, in all the places he scattered to. Where do we prolong our days? Our days are short in Babylon. Our days are short. We're dying very young. Kids, straight bullets. Why do you think that's so? Straight bullets hitting our little 9-year-old kids? 6-year-old kids? Yes, their days are not prolonged in the land of Babylon. But he said he will prolong our days in the land which you go to possess. This is where he prolonged our days.